Hola, me llamo Grace. I'm Grace. I went on exchange to Mexico on the first half year of 2020. The university I went to is Tec de Monterrey, located in northern Mexico. Mexico is a place where so many different empires such as Aztec, Maya located in the past. The dynasty has been very prosperous for a long period of time. After the Spanish discovered this island in 1521, Mexico has been colonized by the Spanish over 300 years. So many historical buildings has been destroyed by them. You can also see a lot of Spanish colonial architecture in the downtown like Mexico City. I applied for the exchange mainly because of the culture. I have been very interested in mystery culture, such as Mayan and Egyptian pyramids, since I was small. My dream was going to visit Chichen Itza, which is one of the most famous Mayan pyramids located in Mexico. When I knew there was a chance for me to be an exchange student in Tec de Monterrey in Mexico, I immediately applied for the exchange offered by OAL of the CUHK. For the preparation before pre-departure, I just follow the reminders shown on OAL website and some tips from my friend who went on exchange before. And here are some areas you may pay attention to. For accommodation, it would be better for you to have a plan before departure. For me, I decided to went outside the campus with my exchange mate. Therefore, we went to Mexico 1 week before the orientation week in order to look for the house. For money and banking problem, it is extremely for you to activate overseas ATM withdrawal limit of your ATM card. As my exchange mate forgot to do this step, even she activated through online banking in Mexico, she still could not take out the money from the ATM.
Hello, my name is Sharie. I'm currently a final year accounting student. I went to Barcelona for a term exchange on the first half of 2020. Barcelona is one of the most popular cities of Spain. This country is located in southern Europe, bordered with Portugal and France. The university I went to is called ESADE, a very modern and renowned business school in Europe. The capital of Spain is Madrid. It is also where the royal family lives. The total population is around 46 million, and the largest city of the country is Badajoz. Spain is one of the few countries who still keeps the monarchy. The king is the head of the country, and the prime minister is the head of the government. The country is divided into 17 communities for administration. The city I went to, Barcelona, is the capital of Catalonia. Spain is a service-driven country, but the unemployment is twice the Eurozone average and the gross public debt is higher than the peers. There were two reasons for me to apply for the exchange program. It was to refresh myself and to learn something new. Before I applied to exchange, I had been told that the learning methods of foreign countries were more interactive than interesting than the ones we had in Hong Kong. And that is why I wanted to gain experience of it. I was kind of lost back in my sophomore year because of all those internships applications, my study, as well as my career. I thought it would be a relief for me if I could refresh myself with a voyage. I also like history a lot, so spending a term abroad would help me to understand more of history and cultures. I know that I was interested in European history, so I focused on finding universities located in Europe. I also did research on the ranking of business programs among the European universities. And other criteria I considered would be the university where I could do credit transfer because my study plans was quite packed during that time. My university was in Spain, so basically Spanish is a surviving tool I need to equip myself with before I depart. I took an introductory course of Spanish in CUHK first. I heard that Spanish were relatively late for their dinner when compared to us. They would have their dinners not earlier than 9 p.m. I think I got used to it quite easily because I was also a night owl.
My exchange experience was quite good, except for the early return due to the pandemic. The overseas university provided us a lot of support in different areas, such as organizing housing tours for us to find the suitable apartments, and some orientation lunch for us to meet other exchange students. The campus environment is so cozy too. Facilities there like library, sports center are bigger than those in Hong Kong. There are also ducks, pincos, turkeys, and deers which can freely walk around the campus. Sometimes you can see that they are lining up to cross the road. For the teaching style in Mexico, professor would like to have more interaction in class. For example, I have taken a course related to Mexican culture. Professor brought so many traditional Mexican food such as mango candy and insect for us to try. Compared to Hong Kong, students are generally like to speak out their question in class rather than asking professor privately after class. And other difficulties I have encountered is the language problem. The city I lived is in northern Mexico. People there generally spoke Spanish with little English. If you don't speak Spanish, it would be a bit difficult for you to live in Mexico. However, it's still fine if you don't speak Spanish like me. When I first come to Mexico, I want to buy a SIM card for my phone. Staff in convenience store only spoke basic English words. It's so difficult for me to have deeper communication in order to understand the function of the cards. But no worries, Mexicans are generally nice and friendly, even though they are just passing by. They are willing to stop here and try their best to help you. It would be better for you to have some translation app in your phone too.
And during exchange, what impressed me the most would be the weather of Barcelona. It was always sunny and a little bit of windy. Even it was winter at that time, I didn't feel it was cold to death or it was a very nice weather to have a walk after dinner and during holiday. The biggest obstacle for me to be living in Spain would be the language. Many of the locals spoke Spanish only, and although most of the people I met were kind, it was a difficulty for me to communicate with them. I used the vocabularies I learned and body language to talk to them, and it turned out to be a big success. Another interesting experience would be my hostel experience. I rented a room in an apartment with four strangers. They came from all around the world, like Mexico, France, and Belgium. None of us shares the same first language, so we basically communicated in English and learned Spanish together. Sometimes we gathered at the living room to share our local food and talked a lot about our cultures. I think this was a down to earth experience because it was the best way to learn a new culture by observing their lifestyles and chatting with the people of that culture. I took a course of Spanish culture at that time. The professor taught us not only history and arts, but also their architecture, food, and football. I think the best way to adapt to the learning language and in exchange would be forcing yourself to step out of your comfort zone. As I said before, they encouraged students to speak up and share their thoughts. So if you were active in class, you would be getting the chance to know more people.
This exchange experience has definitely broadened my horizons. I could have the chance to visit Mayan ruins that I wanted to go there for a long time. You will never know how magnificent it is when you just watch it in a TV show. what I learned the most throughout the exchange is living independently. Especially during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, we encountered so many emergencies. The school closed, the infected case kept increasing, students returned back to their hometown. We had to take good care of ourselves and make decisions on our own rapidly. If I were given a second chance to go on exchange, I would have made more Mexican friends. But still, this exchange was undoubtedly a golden chance for me to explore in the world.
I think the most important lesson is to take care of myself during exchange. You can grow your independency a lot by studying abroad. It is because you can easily find a company from your family and your friends, even you have applied for school's hostel in Hong Kong. During exchange, you have to buy the grocery yourself and do the house chores by yourself as well. You need to cope with a brand new environment and people by yourself. If I were given a second chance to study abroad again, I would have spent my time more wisely. It is because originally my term ended in April, so I planned a lot of trips to explore Europe by the end of school. However, due to coronavirus, I was forced to come back to Hong Kong 3 months earlier. I would have planned more short trips for my weekends to make use of the times if I were to go on an exchange again. Nonetheless, I think my exchange experience was unique and invaluable to me. It was the first time that I lived by myself without any help of my family for these 3 months. And this was a precious adventure for me to speak with people around the world.